We're live. Yeah. Oh, Beard. Before we officially begin, though, we gotta go spam the Discord. Every good live stream begins with spamming people. Come watch my live stream. Please come watch me talk about stuff. All right, let's go. Hey, at least I don't spam you for every video I release. That would really suck. All right. The people are here are like, Luke, you don't have to spam us. We're here already. All right. But, oh shoot. There are some people who will only come if I spam them. Where is this bad boy? Gotta find the button. Gotta copy the link. Then I gotta go to Discord. Do the spamation. All right, it's the same channel I always spam in. Whee! Haha, what are we doing tonight? Oh yeah. Rage quitting after my horrible, toxic dungeon master. What did they do? Killed my precious character. Unfairly killed. Unfairly killed my character. And other RPG horror stories. Tonight on the live stream. There we go. Get that right there. Put the link in. All right. Send that bad boy. Boom. All right. Rock and roll. I think that's done. Now we can get this bad boy going. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Trinda, what's up? Trinda says, this is going to be an interesting list of stories, I bet. Luke's videos are always entertaining, of course. Yeah, we have some fun ones to read tonight. The first one is gonna be cool too. So yeah, we got some fun stories we're gonna be reading tonight. Bree Reynolds, what's up, dude? How you doing? Dreams Gone, hello. Scotty V, what up, dude? Owen, what up in the house? Goliath Cleric's in the house. Owen's in the house. Greg is in the house with the wrenches swinging around. Sweet. Dennis Thornton says, cool, a new stream. On the subject, I got to 12th level before he got killed. Oh, nice. Minimalist Mindset says, these streams are rather consistently 3 hours before my weekly session, so I'm glad to be able to tune in while I'm prepping. That's awesome, yeah. Tonight you get to listen to some stories. Some beautiful stories. Red Near, hello, what up, dude? Enes Yilmaz, dude, what up? Okay, Nightbot's working. It's working. It just took a second or two. Jay Tyler, what up, dude? How you doing, man? The Sasquatch says, my kids love it when I kill their characters. It just gives them an excuse to make new ones. I mean, I feel like... I have to be careful how I say this, but... most rational people don't throw a fit when their characters die, as long as it was legit and there wasn't some dungeon master shenanigan tomfoolery horse crap going on. Like, if there's DM horse crap going on, that's understandable, you know. But I agree that for me, a character dying's pretty cool because it means I get to make a new one, and I'm okay with that. All right, Cat wants to come up. You want to come up? You want to come up here? We're about to start. Come on, get up here. Get your big fat butt up here. Jeez. You big turd. All right, let's... there we go. All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the live stream. Squeaky says hi too. He's jealous that I was talking to somebody besides him, apparently. I had to come up here. Tonight, we're going to be talking about reacting to RPG horror stories. Yay, there's a link down in the description of the video and in the chat if you're here live, where you can leave your own horror stories if you'd like me to read them and react to them on stream and stuff, so you can leave yours as well. We obviously have some already picked out for at least the very beginning here that we're going to be talking about and going through. So yeah, that's tonight. We have some nice juicy tidbits ready for tonight that I think we're going to enjoy. Before we do that, you can see that I am busy fluffing my belly, the kitty's belly. He gets picked on, he gets his belly fluffed. This is what we call it. This is the fluffing of the belly. He likes this. This is what he lives for, besides food, because as you can see, he likes food. He's a big boy. All right, so let's do our pre-stream stuff, and then we're gonna get into it. Squeaky, what a handsome chonk. He's so chonky. He's so chonky. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing that we should mention is we do have a giveaway going on. Please join the giveaway. There's a link down in the chat and stuff where you can join the giveaway. Woo! Good job, Squeaky. And the next thing that we're going to talk about is let's do our patron shoutouts. Where's our patron shoutouts? All right, sweet. Everybody you see on screen here is one of our wonderful patrons. They help support all of the content that we create on the stream, on the channel. For instance, one of these streams, this stream right here, these patrons help foot the bill for that. They pay for me to be here and to talk to you and to read you stories and react and freak out and rant. More than likely, there's somebody out there whose story is going to get read and they're probably going to be supremely upset, but the rest of us are going to be entertained. So I just have to watch my back when I'm like out and about, I suppose. Anyway, these wonderful patrons, not only do they support our content, but they also get our premium content, Lair magazine, every single month, a new issue, plus lots of other cool stuff that we give patrons. So they definitely get something in exchange for their awesome support, and we are appreciative of everything they do for us. And then these folks here get their names read out loud because they throw additional channel money at the channel, and we read their names out loud. Some people call it a bribe. I consider it a patron perk. Here we go. Aaron H, Agile M, Alex S, Alexander O, Alithana, Ellen D, Alithina, Amanda W's, Ambers, Angelique K, Anton K, Art Soccer, Ashley, Alucas, Beavis Con, Bees in Space, Ben D, Black Wolf, Bradley H, Brandon P, Brian D, Brian O, Brian the Lion, Brian J, Carl C, Caddick Wolf, Christine B, Christopher G, Clay W, Colette H, Colin W, Connor D, Conjurer Gravy, Corey A, Courtney H, Kulong B, Dara D, Dazzwood Up, David B, David S, Da Wolf, Dalen W, Dean B, Derek E, Dice Goblin Wannabe, Don D, Draxus, Dreams Gone, Dungeon of Terra, Ed R, Edward B, Edward L, and Fravo, Endorian72, Eric B, Forest Brew, Gabriel T, Gene A, Gene W, George E, George R, Greg P, Guapo, Gubin, GVTM, Heart U, HLD, Important, Iron Cascade, Jackie Pizza, Jacob H, Jacob K, James L, Jeff S, Jeremy W, Jarek, Jim P, Joanne P, Joel J, John B, John D, John the Wicked, John Pinkanos, Jonathan F, Jonathan S, Jonathan V, Jordan A, Jose B, Joseph H, Josh M, Josh S, Juan, Justin J, Kevin W, Killsaber K, Kirby, Kitty Stalker, Laura L, Laser Siam, Lionheart, Linda, Loki, Lord H, Lieberclaw, Matlock, Macy S, Mama D, Marcel V, Marcus, Martin E, Master Noob, Matthew C, Meepy, Michael S, Michelangelo, Mika J, Mirostal, Mitchell, Mo20s, Mordakian, Morganth, Morvay, Nerd Over 9000, Nicholas S, Nick H, Nostramo, Old Mad Mage, Oleg, Patrick D, Paul C, Paul S, Pethnick, Pivo, Porkchop Bacon, Puppet Master, Randall C, Randy B, Rebar, Renner C, Richard M, Robert C, Robin B, Roll for Combat, Roop L, Ross A, Ryan, Saul R, Sakura, Samantha J, Sarah J, Sarah P, Scott C, Scott R, Shadow 1317, Shane L, Sean the Ice I, Simfan, Solnaya, Stephen G, Stephen T, Steve S, Sturm, T Warner, Tabletop Nerd, Tylna, Tyrese T, Terry V, the Old DM, the Diabolical DM, the Jackal, the Nice Dragon, the Fuzzle, the New Bed Ombre, Thomas F, Thor, J, TK, Tom B, Tom T, Travels T, Timothy, Trinity, Trinity S, Tyler D, Tyler R, Valagor, Victoria Q, Vladimir S, Volhoff, Valez, Wesley K, William C, XX Redrum, Zombie, Trami, Cat Hair. Whee! All right, there we are. Let's get that over here and then back to there. Yes, hello, cat. He's gonna stare at me the whole stream. Yes, Sean, very many names. It's awesome. I'll happily read those names and more. Oh. All right, so let's do this. Oh, by the way, don't forget we have a Kickstarter going on right now. Our Layers and Legends 2 Kickstarter is live. It's kicking butt. We are closing in on our next stretch goal of opening up an entire new adventure for people. Let's go over to the Kickstarter page and see exactly where we're at on here. So you can get 2 big, fat, huge books stuffed full of 5th edition content to use in your games. Adventures, traps, puzzles, monsters, new rule sets, whole bunches of cool stuff to use in your games. Helps you reduce your prep time, something you can drag and drop into your games where you need it. And obviously it's professionally developed, which means that like it's really good, high quality content. It's not something turdy that like ChatGPT will spit out for you. It's like really solid crap. Anyway, we're very close. Our next stretch goal is at 240K. We're gonna unlock a new adventure for all of our backers. So we are 8 grand away from it. So we're closing in on that bad boy. And next week is the last week to back this thing and get the exclusive Kickstarter prices. Like our backers always get special prices for helping to back the Kickstarter while it's live and making it a reality. So you always will get a better price if you back the Kickstarter live than if you get it anytime after the fact. So now is the time to get in on the action and get your 2 big, fat, beefy books, like big, beefy books. Each of these books is over 300 pages. Okay, we're not pulling some shenanigans where it's like, oh, we're giving you 2 books, but they're only 100 pages each. We don't do that bull crap. When we publish a book, it is a book of size that you would expect, like big books. The Layers and Legends 2 one, the top one you see right there, that one right there has got 30 plus adventures in it. So that one, I think, we haven't gotten through all of the layout yet, but I think that one is gonna push 400 pages. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be stinking close. So these are real fat books. These are books sizes that you would expect. Tons of content. We're not pulling some shenanigan foolery where it's like, we're giving you a book, but it's 100 pages. We don't do that crap, right? These are big, fat, juicy books, all right? So anyway, if you want a whole bunch of crap for your games, go out, back the project, get some cool crap. All right, let's go over here. That was there, and now let's move on to our stories. Okay, so I'm gonna basically read a story, react to it, we're gonna talk about it. Evan Bashaw says really solid crap. I mean, it is. Like, that's how I talk. I am not like a corporate guy who like has flowery words for you, like that will like, you know, leave you spellbound, like flowery words, spellbound. Ooh. I don't talk that way. I'm real. I'm like, I would be the worst like C-suite executive in the world because I would just talk like a normal human being. And I like the company that I was in, they don't talk like that. They have like a secret speech, you know, it's all like, it's corporate talk is what I call it. And I can't talk that way. And it's ugh. So anyway, you just get Luke talking real, like human language is what you get. All right. Oh. Let's go read this bad boy. Here we are. Okay, so Eta. What does that mean? Does anybody know what this means? The title of this story, let's zoom in a little bit so we can all see this a little bit better. The title of this story is Eta, for rage quitting after the presumably unfair death of my character. Am I the, okay, I think I know what that means. Am I the butthead for rage quitting after the presumably unfair death of my character? So, my dog had to do a little hacking job over there. So there we go. People, don't type that in, you guys. You're gonna get warned by the moderator. Don't type that word in. I'm sorry, I probably brought that upon you. But the moderator, the bot will like beat you on the head if you use the bad word. So don't use the bad word. Okay, just say butthead and then we're fine. Okay, here we go. I'm really sorry if there'll be any poor grammar in advance because I'm not a native English speaker. I'm gonna tell you what, like I know a native English speaker They were from England, actually. And they had the worst grammar in the world. So this guy, right, and that's not indicative of everybody who speaks English, but this guy right here already has at least that person beat. So I think you're good to go. So this is going to be my first post ever out there. Hopefully it'll be my last too. It will after I read it all, because he's like, oh my gosh, he read it on stream. I'm never posting again. Hopefully it'll be the last two, and in the future, there'll be no such major dramas in my friend group. Nobody likes dramas in their friend groups, man. So for this particular situation, which I admit could be very dubious, I'll need to give you a ton of context. All right, we're all here for context. Me, forever DM turned fresh player, and my friends are consistently playing D&D and Pathfinder for 3 to 4 years. And everyone was getting along pretty well, except me and the guy we'll call New DM. Me and New DM go back a while, and ever since our first game, we've had some sort of problems and conflicts with each other. In the beginning, it was due to the mainly New DM acting up and overall being very toxic to me and other players. This is something that, like, I want to know what the definition of toxic is, because some people have such loose definitions of toxic. You know, like somebody might just like look at you the wrong way and it's like, oh my gosh, that's toxic. Ah! So I hope that we go into the detail. I haven't read this yet. I hope that we really go into the details of like what this very toxic behavior is, because dude, sometimes people like the smallest of things comes across as toxic. Oh, and it's just like, that's just human beings interacting with each other. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Anyway, toxic behavior, overall being very toxic to me and other players, being passive aggressive. Okay. Leveraging his position as a proactive player in order for us to cut him some slack or make an in-game decision in his favor. So this is the definition of very toxic. Passive aggressive. Okay. And then leveraging his position as a proactive player in order to cut us some slack or make an in-game decision in his favor. Yeah, I mean, that's crummy. Right, when you're trying to finagle and get things to go your way when they shouldn't. Like, I can definitely see that. And over time, if you're constantly doing that, I can see that being like very, very not cool. And if somebody is consistently, I don't know, it's like if somebody's consistently being passive aggressive to the extent that like it affects the atmosphere, and everybody kind of feels that tension and it gets old, like, dude, I'd probably be removing somebody like that from my group if that goes on too long. And then somebody who expects special behavior, I think that's probably gonna get cut off really quickly as well. So I don't know how toxic you would classify that as, but it's definitely not a good situation. And that's something that somebody probably should have fixed one way or another without it going on too long. All right. However, I should note a couple of things here. Even though as a player, he was toxic and sometimes unruly, he absolutely excelled in roleplay and was initiating a ton of things, even offering me to help with the creation of some homebrew mechanics, which I admit did make our games more interesting and thrilling. So I always gave him the benefit of the doubt, letting him stay in our circle and take initiative in some crucial moments for our party or game. I had a player once myself who was an amazing role player, did a great job role playing, but there were some negative things he brought to the table that ultimately resulted in him getting kicked from the table. And so I think this is always something that a game master, a group should consider, right? Like, most people are not all negative, right? Everything they bring is a negative aspect. Most human beings have good things about them and bad things about them. And the totality of those is what makes a decision, such as whether you keep them around or whether you ask them to leave and find a table where they're going to fit in better, right? So somebody's always going to have good things about them, right? The question is the bad things making the game bad enough to consider booting them or whatever? All right, here we go. Fast forward a few years, and now New DM is, you guessed it, offering, so a few years. Okay, so we are now in a situation where we have put up with toxic behavior for a few years. I mean, this was classified as very toxic behavior. So we're putting up with very toxic behavior for a few years. That's crazy. I don't know that I could do that. I don't know that I could do that. Fast forward a few years, a new DM, as you guessed it, offering each and every one of us to play in his game and custom setting. Right then and there was some major red flags for me. The world is basically over-the-top dark fantasy, where gods are very much real, walking among mortals and governing their respective states. Okay, got it. How is that dark fantasy? The thing is, humans live in what could be called a glorified bandit state, with a good chunk of their gods being liars, manipulators, and crazed scientists. Only two that are somewhat morally good or right. Okay, so like, okay, I get it. So the new DM is offering you all to play in his game, right? So you're being offered to play in his game. I don't know what happens here, but like, if you have a player who is overly toxic and you've been playing with them for a few years, you gotta think that you're probably not gonna play in their game, right? Like I probably wouldn't. Like, if I can barely stand playing with them as a player, do I really want them as a game master? Like, I think that has to be something that you consider, right? Like, whether you're going to do this or not. All right, where do we pick off? Here we go. Well, too bad. The token good god in said pantheon is a loser who fought against totally not Skaven and lost badly. What does that mean? What the heck does that mean? The token good god in said pantheon is a loser who fought against totally not Skaven. I have no idea what the heck that means. Does anybody know what that means? All right, maybe there was some context there or something that, or maybe it's something in pop culture that I just don't understand. Anyway, he lost, and who can barely fight near apocalyptic cult within his country? Same goes for the only lawful good that has tried and failed to push for reforms within this circus of haha, I'm so evil and vile human deities. Of course, this setting also has elves, the race which is not only immortal, but elves aren't immortal. Elves are not immortal. Okay, maybe in this setting they are, but in general they are not. But also is much more technologically advanced and simply cannot lie on a biological level. Okay, so this sounds like a setting specific type of elf. Okay, check. And are servants of some S+ tier goddess of death. So now the elves, okay, so technologically advanced, they cannot lie. Okay, so hold on a second. So you have elves that are technologically advanced, they cannot lie due to biology, and they're servants of an S+ tier goddess of death. Therefore can totally kick everybody else's butts. Okay, all right, so we have some interesting elves. Got it. In this world. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'd probably want to play in this world here. But anyway, everybody has a different cup of tea. All right. Okay, here we go. I absolutely hated the premise. What? Okay, so let me get this straight. So you suffer for years under a toxic player, and they pitch this game with them as the game master running the game, and then you hate the premise. Check. So the next part of this story should be, I don't join the game. Toxic players probably make the worst game masters, I would wager a guess. And you don't enjoy the premise of the game. So I'm sure he joins the game. I'm sure he does, because otherwise there wouldn't be a story, right? But my question would be, why would you join the game? What would possibly compel you to join a game like that? Toxic player becomes DM in a world and setting and story premise that you don't like at all. Like, are you being paid to join the game? Like, I don't know why you would join this game. Like, it's like suffer more. Why would you do this? I'm probably razzing a little too hard on the OP, but I can't help it. It seems like you should run from this game. Like, why wouldn't you run from this game? This can't go badly. It's kind of like it's midnight. You know, the bars just got out. You hear some things crashing and making noise in an alleyway, and then you hear a voice that says, "Hey, come over here. Come over here." It's like, you don't go to the alleyway. Are you kidding me? Bad idea. The red flags are like everywhere. So you don't go there. It's like, and then it's like, okay, I went to the alleyway and I got mugged and stabbed, you know, and I'm in the hospital and now I have permanent injury and I can never walk again. And like, well, you shouldn't have gone to the alleyway, man, you know? Anyway, but maybe you were drunk too and you just didn't see it coming. Okay, anyway, fair. Let's go back to the story. I absolutely hated the premise, yet I rolled with it, hoping that maybe we as players would be able to make some changes in this world. What? There's no reason to think that you would possibly be able to make changes in this guy's world. The guy he already is passive aggressive. He already has, as a player, he was manipulating the situation and stuff so that he could get his way. Like, he was already steamrolling and manipulating people as a player. What do you think he's going to do as a game master? Like, he's just gonna be worse as a game master. You're not, there's only bad things coming. There's only bad things coming. So I created this Joan of Arc type warrior lady, basically a servant of the good God mentioned above. Thing is, that's where the situation starts to get really controversial, and I'll admit that. You see, this warrior lady had a vigilante class because she was posing as a man, an arrogant and cocky man, which did get the character into trouble once or twice. So with that out of the picture, I'll try to describe my possible wrongdoings below after I introduce the main cast. Nevertheless, stop biting me. Nevertheless, the new DM have cooperated with me, giving me an enchanted set of armor that basically helped my character conceal her identity. Okay, I mean, that's off to a decent start, right? The game master is rolling along with the idea of your character concept. Okay, you want to be a woman posing as a man. Okay, cool. We'll give you like a set of armor, right? That's going to help you conceal your identity. A magical set of armor. Sweet. So at least the game master is rolling along with the idea at that point. So that's perhaps a good sign. All right. Now, time to get to the main cast and story itself. Besides me, there were 3 players important to this whole situation. We'll call them the Wizard, the Alchemist, and the Druid. To cut a long story short, the Druid was my main buddy and supporter throughout this whole mess, and played as character with somewhat established moral compass. The Wizard was sort of mediator, taking neutral stance both out of character and in character, which made him do some really questionable things in game. And finally, the Alchemist, while being certainly a chill guy in real life, rolled an absolute monstrous, totally not scaven. Okay, so what does scaven mean? Somebody has to tell me what scaven means, or should I Google search this? Scientist with a ton of servant NPC guarding him and running around him. What does scaven mean? Am I gonna get into trouble if I do a Google search on what this means? What? Stop biting me! What does scaven mean? What the heck is this? He keeps using this term. I don't know what this means. The Skaven, sometimes known as the Ratmen, the Ratkin, the child of the horned rat, or the Underfolk, are a malevolent and diabolical race of large, intelligent humanoid rats. What the heck does this mean in the context of this story? Minimalist says, but Luke, what if the Dark Alley Herald is offering bacon? Well, if they're offering bacon, all bets are off. Like, what are you going to do? But that doesn't make any sense to call this his reference of Skaven doesn't make any sense in the context of this. Totally not Skaven. What does that mean? So it's a Ratman scientist? So it means it is a Ratman scientist? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand this. Okay, I don't know. I think he must be talking about Ratman, but it doesn't make any sense. I don't know why the emphasis is totally not Skaven scientist. I don't know why the emphasis is there. It doesn't make sense to me. I think you can see where this is going. No, I can't. I really can't see where this is going. I mean, we know, okay, so like, yes, correct. We know that this ends in absolute disaster. Yes, but I have no idea where this is going whatsoever. No idea where this is going. I don't know if anybody else knows where this is going. Right from the very start of the story, we had not only in character, But out of character conflicts. Why? Why? Why are there in character and out of character conflicts? I guess it's because of the things that people were doing or something. So anyway, there's character conflicts. There's in character and out of character conflicts. Okay, why? Because I was not fond of what New DM was doing with the alchemist, the alchemist character. What was happening to the alchemist character? I missed that. Did he talk about that, or is he going to talk about it? Let's hope he talks about it. From the get-go, the man who I knew would be up to some really suspicious stuff got the mechanic to surround himself with the servants that are, in essence, just additional characters with the same stats and skills as PCs. Okay, so he cloned the characters and put them in the game, it sounds like. And he managed to effortlessly get not one, but 3 of such servants in prologue only. Okay. In addition to this, Alchemist, okay, so the Alchemist got the clones? What? So hold on a second. The Alchemist character got the clones in the prologue? In addition to this, Alchemist was the first one to get his character arc started. In the same prologue, he recruited an allied, totally not Scaven. I'm tired of this reference. I'm over this reference. I don't know what the heck he means by totally not Scaven all the time. Okay. NPC, oh, I see, maybe he's saying that they betray you. Maybe he's trying to say that when they're Scaven, they betray you. And so he's emphasizing that all of these NPCs and stuff and characters get planted in the story, and then they end up scavenging you or betraying you. Maybe that's what he's trying to say. This feels so like colloquial though. Like, you know, the meaning of this is hidden by like, you know, localized speech and crap. In addition to this, the Alchemist was the first. So the Alchemist has clones of the other characters, it sounds like. The Alchemist was the first to get his character arc started. In the same prologue, he recruited an allied, totally not Scaven NPC into our party. So he's got clones and NPCs already into the party. So this game is really starting off with like the ball rolling. And we basically could do nothing to stop or hinder him. Okay, so it sounds like the Game Master has allowed the Alchemist to have clones of the main characters as his like minions, underlings, and now he has an NPC as well that is on his side. So the Alchemist just has a whole bunch of overpowered stuff. Like, what kind of game is this? Do people run games like this? So you give a player, so the player has their PC, and then they have 3 other, like, I don't know, NPCs that they're running that help them, and then they get another one. So one character has like 5 people that they're running in the game? Do people run games like this? I've never been in a game like this. I don't think I'd ever run a game like that. Like, how do you logistically run a game where one character has essentially 5 characters? One player has 5 characters. Like, what do the logistics look like that? Like, are you actually playing a game, or are you just sitting around like, I don't know what this is. Okay. And my character, who, need I remind you, was still the servant of the token good god that fought and lost to this race. Okay. Well, she had nothing, only said enchanted armor set and sorted by the goddess of beauty for my in-game efforts during the prologue boss fight. In fact, by playing cocky vigilante persona, I haven't even established my character as confident and experienced knight. New DM had decided to punish me for my overconfidence and brash attitude, and while I was giving advice to allied NPCs on our war council, was shunned and threatened to be incarcerated. Okay, so you're getting the shaft a little bit. This is okay. So this is exactly what happens when, as the game master, you give another player like 5 characters to run. They get 5 characters, and the person said that nothing they could do would like overcome them or defeat them, right? So one player is getting all of these special benefits, and then another player isn't getting anything, relatively speaking. This is the exact sort of thing that a game master has to be wary of, and not playing favorites essentially and giving one player all of these cool, amazing things, because then the other players feel like they got shafted and gypped. Like, this player got special magical armor. Now in my games, if I give you special magical armor out of the gate, That's a pretty big deal. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, that would be special treatment, right? But I got to make sure everybody gets something. But when one player gets the cool armor and then another one gets like special NPCs that adventure with him, well, yeah, then one person got shafted because it isn't fair. It's not equitable. So yeah, this is game mastering 101, where you got to treat your players fairly. Absolutely. And this is exactly what happens when you don't. People feel like they got shafted, as evidenced here. And that's one more thing that stacks up against the game master and how the game master is running the game. Zutek, thank you for the $5 super chat. Quick question, what style of art do you prefer in a campaign? 3D, realistic, toon, anime, watercolor? I hate anime. I cannot stand anime. Sorry. Realistic. I like realistic fantasy art. You know, just the kind of stuff that you would see in most of your RPG books is the kind of, that I like. But no, I can't do anime. Do not do anime. Ugh, gosh. It's, well, for my taste, it's overly sexualized, and I don't do that stuff. So, no, I pass on anime for sure. Okay, let's continue with our wonderful story. Yes, little giant, I can't speak. Minionlings. Then came our infiltration mission of the basically big bads, or so I thought, Lair, who hosted a large party. Yes, he did that in the middle of war and in a besieged town. Let's just say that their situation went absolutely foobar. Druid's actions made us basically obey all the wacky and absurd big bad forced us to do, as his, and I learned later mine, important background characters were held captive. Then there came the second alchemist's problem. What he did was unleash a literal eldritch monster upon our party during the mock arena battle for the entertainment of Big Bad's guests. This was another moment where I had to break my character's logic and do nothing, because even after we defeated this monster, everyone else reacted to the event as water under the bridge. Okay, look at this is stupid. Like this is again, this is, if you run games like this where the character, like earlier in the story, the person mentioned that there was in character and out of character conflict and drama, and oh, of course there is, because you have players attacking other players. Like when you allow PvP into your games, there is a high likelihood that feathers are going to get ruffled. And if you compound it, when you already have a group that's a little bit like questionable, like you have a game master running, the game master is toxic according to this person, the OP's description, and they have a very questionable or I don't know, very dark setup to their campaign that they're running. And when you have that sort of these dynamics in a group, and then you allow PvP on top of it, well, of course people are going to get pissed at each other. Of course people are going to get upset. Like that's what's going to happen. Like you're literally, you got a pressure cooker and you're adding all of the ingredients in there for a grand explosion. Like the writing is on the wall when you're doing this sort of thing. Like this just seems like, you know, it seems obvious, obvious that this can't go anywhere but poorly. All right. Once again, what did my character get for this whole mess of a situation? I barely managed to buy out 3 not terribly powerful or important NPCs from my character's backstory from slavery, in addition for immense amount of work and time that I've put into this infiltration mission, as well as broken artifacts from the character's backstory. And even then, for these NPCs and items, she had to give up the idea of saving her fiancé, a person that was essential to her backstory. There was now another grudge that I had against the new DM. So you don't feel like you're getting treated fairly, right? Like you have to, okay. All right, so you're not getting treated fairly. And things keep stacking up against the new DM. But I still don't know why you're in the game to begin with. Like, I don't understand why you joined the game to begin with. And I don't understand, like, when things start to go poorly, as you knew that they must, why you stay in the game. Like, this is the type of game that you should drop out of. I mean, yeah, you should have never joined to begin with, but, everybody makes bad decisions. But, like, you should drop out of this. Run away from the alleyway. Okay. So, out of sheer will not to turn the aftermath of infiltration into slaughter between our party members, Druid couldn't return to our allies due to characters from his background being held hostage, and the alchemist simply didn't want to. Okay, so you now have splitting the party. Now we're adding splitting the party onto it. Like the game master or the players are deciding to split the party, and so now I feel like this story is probably crossing into like almost every problematic area that you possibly can. It's like we're just checking off the boxes of different things in this story. My character went and basically negotiated the contract between our party and the big bad in order to save the druid background characters. Okay, so one other thing too, like the campaign just began and you're already confronting the big bad. What kind of campaign starts like that? Like cuts right to the chase. We're going after the big bad of the entire campaign from the beginning. Unless this is like a one-shot campaign or something, which might be its saving grace, this train wreck. I did this with clear-cut intention to betray him somewhere along the lines. Sadly, that's where the wizard comes into the picture. He was chosen as the leader of our now officially formed party, which isn't actually together because 2 of the characters aren't with the rest of the group by the sounds of this, and was adamant on being neutral and not risking too much. I knew then and there that it'd be a catastrophic ride for my character. What, you didn't know this beforehand? You should have known it would be a catastrophic ride before the game began. You can't say that now it's a catastrophic ride. Everybody saw the writing on the wall. Because as soon as we left the Big Bad's lair on our quest to recruit guests for his party, our squad just became absolutely chaotic and unlawful bandits. Well, of course, that's the type of game you're playing. That's completely the type of game you're playing. On our path, and you created a good character. So you, like, the game master pitched a campaign that was like dark, horrible, all this horrible stuff going on. Your other players rolled up characters that were bad people, essentially, and they're doing bad stuff. And then the one person rolls up a good aligned character. Like, this is like the perfect little explosion ready to happen. You know, so yeah, this is like the thing where, like, in the session 0 or whatever, there should be this conversation of like what characters everybody's running so that we can make sure that it works in the context of the campaign that the game master is running. Because when you have somebody who is running a character that doesn't fit in, there's going to be lots of conflict. So this should have been part of that conversation before this campaign ever began, and it should have never began probably too. On our path, we later attacked the human militia that was hunting down elves just because the wizard was afraid to fight said elves. And as you'd have guessed, they're OP as crap. And due to me trash talking both the elves and the wizard in character because of that decision, got threatened and shunned once again. Well, you created a character that goes against the vein of the campaign. So yeah. And also allied him. We've later learned that the alchemist was also continuing his research on eldritch beings, and also allied himself with Doomsday Cult. Although now he was trying to hide behind the noble goals. The wizard was more or less fine with it, only saying that it's dangerous in character. The last straw for me and the druid was encounter with a necromancer we found during our travels. This is the last straw. Okay, we're on to the last straw now. The necromancer was openly admitted to raiding and destroying peaceful settlements. The wizard came up with a brilliant idea to recruit him as a guest and send him right to the big bad. Yeah, here's the great ideas. Let's take the evil guy, recruit him to our cause, and send him after the big bad. That probably isn't going to go well. Probably not going to go well. All right. We are getting close to the end of this. That day, me and the druid decided to conspire against the wizard and the alchemist. Okay, so now we have more PvP. We have more PvP in the game. Why? Like, there is a world full of bad guys. There's a world full of bad guys. Literally, the game masters put a world full of bad guys, and you're attacking each other. Does anybody, this is stupid. Like, of course you're all gonna get pissed at each other. Of course this game is gonna implode. There can be no other end to an implosion when you have this cauldron of volatility that everybody is brewing. It's not just the game master, the players are helping to brew it. The OP is helping to brew this. They're all working together to create this impending explosion. Good gravy. That day, the wizard, me and the druid decided to conspire against the wizard and the alchemist, outright deciding to kill their characters and turn our campaign into something more lawful. Yeah, that's gonna work. This is okay. So there's only if two players are conspiring to kill the characters of two other players, that campaign is not gonna last. Like if you kill their characters out of character, you're all gonna hate each other. The whole group is gonna implode. Like, this doesn't work. You can't neatly separate in-character actions from out-of-character feelings. You can't separate those two things. You can't. If you do things in character to screw over a player's character, they're going to not like it out of character, almost guaranteed. Now, there's a small amount of very mature groups out there where they can do that. This is clearly not one of them. Not even close to being one of them. We've gathered all of our NPCs and prepared an ambush. An ambush that turned into slaughter. Okay, so you made an ambush with your NPCs. It turned into a slaughter of my character, the druid, and our NPCs. You see, new DM came up with the brilliant idea of giving both of them not only powerful NPCs and allies, but nigh immortality. Our ambush didn't do a thing. Not only our NPCs were considerably weaker, my level 8 and 5 fighters, along with level 6 ranger and level 4 expert versus level 9 paladin and level 6 gunslinger, bard, and fighter. We just didn't have any means of killing the wizard and the alchemist. This does not surprise me. Does this surprise anybody? Come on. The former had this as a mechanic and character trait established in the process of creation, while the latter was straight up rewarded for his research of all things eldritch. And here we were, the good guys, that had tried negotiating and arguing both in character and out of character, killed off as some random mooks. The whole campaign is a train wreck at this point. This should not be surprising to you. I went absolutely ballistic and left our server then and there. You should have done that before. You should have done that 3 years ago. I should also note that new DM didn't try to contact me after the incident. Why would they? And only the players encouraged me to talk with him about the situation, which didn't end so well. I just lashed out at him over and over again. You can't. I'm gonna finish the story. So, am I the butthead for leaving and bad-mouthing the new DM? Is he really just playing favorites? Well, yes, he's playing favorites. Or I'm too paranoid and that's what led to eventual PvP. No! Too long didn't read. I feel like my DM is playing favorites and gifting the players who do morally wrong choices, which forced me to start PvP in order to create more good campaign. After losing my character, I rage quit the game. Am I the butthead? So you're a fool for joining that game to begin with. And it feels like to me that the OP is created a character that goes against the vein of that campaign. Like, that campaign's premise seems to be set up in such a way that, like, you're going to have a crap show. The world is set up to be a crap show, and it's dark and bad things are happening. And the OP's character, they positioned them in such a way that they wanted to change that and turn it into a good campaign. I feel like they were fighting against the current of the campaign. They were fighting against the current of what the other players wanted to do in the campaign. They were fighting against the current of what the game master wanted to do in that campaign. And so, I mean, you didn't create a character that fit into the context of the campaign. So I think that was one of the errors. I think the other big error here was just joining the game. Like, you should have never joined that game. Like, you had a supposedly toxic player who was going to be the game master, right? I think that was a big mistake. You should have never joined the game. Are you a butthead for leaving the game? No, you should have left the game much sooner than you did. That game. Listen, here's the thing. There are some games, some campaigns, and some groups that are just not good fits for people. Like, that was not your group. Now, that's the type of group that there are probably lots of people who would love playing in that, because that's the type of thing they dig. But like, that wasn't for you. That was not a good fit for you. You should have not joined it. You should have found a different game that was something more appealing to you and wasn't being run by a game master who you knew, or you, from your point of view, was toxic and was not good for the game, right? So you should never join that game. Are you bad for bad mouthing the new DM? I mean, you know, everybody's got to talk about their crap. Everybody's got to get stuff off their chest. Is he playing favorites? He's clearly playing favorites. He's clearly playing favorites, but like, you kind of, I mean, shoot, dude. If that's the campaign that you're running, and some characters are going with the campaign and other characters are going against the campaign, like, it's hard not to favor the players whose characters are actually doing the thing the campaign was built for, I guess. I don't know. Am I too paranoid and that's what led to the eventual PvP? No, the PvP was an inevitable result of that campaign, the premise of that campaign, and probably the player styles. Like, that was inevitable. Like, there was just a cauldron building there, and PvP was probably a natural result. So I don't think that the OP caused the PvP. No, actually, he literally did. He literally said that he started to conspire with the druid to kill off the other two characters. So, but there was PvP before then too. The alchemist started the PvP, and then this is all just like a snowball rolling downhill and getting worse and worse and worse. So he probably didn't start the PvP, somebody else did, but the game master allowed the PvP, and then the OP played into the PvP. Okay. But like, you should have rage quit that game. You should have never joined that game at all. Yeah. Goliath Cleric says it sounds like it was supposed to be an evil campaign, but it was poorly communicated to begin with. That's possible. That's possible. Yeah. That's just a crap show. That whole game just sounds like, how does that work? Like, that's the sort of thing that feels like they're playing a completely different game than I'm accustomed to. But anyway, everybody has different styles and different types of games they play, so that's life. But there you go. There's our first RPG horror story. That was a long one. All right. What do you guys think of that? So let's see. Diorama says everyone is wrong here and the OP didn't fit the campaign. 100% agree with that. The OP did not fit that campaign. They should have never joined. As a context for everyone that is new to the horror stories world, think that we are seeing the facts in a vacuum. That guy could be someone nice out of the game context, or a familiar or a friend. Sure. It sounds like an Evil Dark campaign that got out of hand. Yeah, it definitely got out of hand. It got out of hand. Grace says, my table, you picking up, hugs, trying to get to the enemy first, showing off to each other. It never seems to get out of hand. Helps to have a decent table. Yeah, but like, dude. Uh-oh. I was frozen for a second. Oh, that's why, because my stupid external hard drive is doing bullcrap shenanigans on me. Yeah, but PvP, when you're like stealing from each other or attacking each other, that's like hardcore PvP, you know. Olive says everyone is the butthead. Everyone's the butthead. Oh, wow. I don't blame the DM. Yeah, you know, I mean, my initial reaction is, I feel like, I think everyone has blame attributed to them, but the OP should never have been in that game to begin with. As they even began that post, they were listing off all of the reasons. It was like a case study of all of the reasons not to join a game, right? The game master is toxic. The game master is doing these bad things, you know, blah, 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 blah. It was like a checklist of all of the reasons not to join a game. and they joined the game anyway. They should have never been in that game. But I don't know. The game master was trying to run a specific campaign, and it sounds like they did some stuff that was kind of bullcrap. But the OP also didn't have a character that fit the campaign. Like, I don't know who to attribute. Like, if you want to see like who is more to blame, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. Usually, here's the interesting thing. Usually, when you get a story like this from one person's point of view, the story usually makes that person seem to be in the right. But I'm almost seeing them as being a little bit more in the wrong than other people involved. That's kind of my quick hot take on it. The cat is very cute. The cat has been sitting here the entire stream just chewing on me. Just chewing on me. It sounds like at no point in the entire thing did anybody sit down and talk to each other. I don't know what was going on during that game. It was just a hot mess. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a giveaway going on. Join the giveaway. There should be a link down in the chat. We're going to give away $50 DM Lair store credit. You can get a whole bunch of cool stuff on our store to use in your games. We have our printed books are back in stock too, so you can get print books. Print books are back in stock, and obviously we have a bunch of digital content as well that you can get. All right. Janik says, Moen from Germany. I really enjoy watching your vids. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, oh yeah, you know, we have a Kickstarter going on too. If you guys want to go check out our Kickstarter, Lairs and Legends 2, there's 1 week left in our Kickstarter, just 1 week, and then it's going to close. And we give exclusive special pricing to everyone who backs our Kickstarters. Like, the prices right now on the Kickstarter, they will not be like that later. Like, you have 1 week left to get low prices on our Kickstarter. So, and these two books, two big, fat, huge, honking books. I want to emphasize this. Where's my page? Go to my page over here. Go to my page. These two books right here, each of these books is over 300 pages long. This one right here, Lairs and Legends 2, has over 30 adventures in it. It's probably going to be pushing 400 pages long. We don't do little skeezy 100-page books when we make books and then charge you like, $50 for it. No, we make big, huge books full of content to use in your games. The content in these two books is probably going to last you for like a couple years. We have adventures. We have over 100 monsters. There are new rule sets. There are puzzles. There are traps. There are standalone encounters. There are magic items. There's lots of cool stuff you can drag and drop into your games to reduce your prep time and hopefully increase the quality of your games by a little bit, because you're going to be using professionally made content, professional stuff by my team of writers and me and our editing crew and all this kind of stuff. And we have amazing artwork too. Our artists we have 5 or 6 artists right now just cranking out beautiful artwork. A lot of it's featured on the page. You can see a lot of it here, but they keep turning in stuff. We got amazing artwork as well. All real human artists, by the way. We do not do anything AI. There's no AI art, none of that horse crappery. This is all humans working, putting in blood, sweat, and tears on these books. And we're very close to our next stretch goal of 240K. We're gonna unlock a new adventure for Lairs and Legends 2, a brand new adventure. Throw that sucker in there. So head on over there, lock in your special Kickstarter pricing. My cat, look at this. My cat has been, so that's the doggy cam. This is the camera that's supposed to point this way, but my cat has been rubbing the camera. So there, let's point that the way it's supposed to go. Look at the doggy cam. She's just sleeping. She has a diaper on because she literally pooped on one of our live streams. So now she wears a diaper. We call her Diaper Doggy. Diaper Doggy. There we go. All right, let's find another horror story to read, shall we? All right, I need to find. Let's read a short one. Let's find one of these short ones. I'm gonna put this one in. How are we gonna mark them when I'm finished with them? Zach, can you figure out a way in the spreadsheet to mark a horror story once I have already read it, and so we know that it's good? We can color code it. Color coding is probably a way to do it. I'm gonna read. Oh, of Okay, here's one from our Discord. We actually, so we're gonna go there. Let's go to my Discord. Oh shoot. Just open it up, dude. We have a channel in my Discord where you can post your own horror stories. So I'm gonna go to the Discord server right now, and we're gonna read one that one of our Discord members posted. I gotta find the channel though. RPG horror stories. Come on. We have so many channels, and half of them we don't even use. RPG horror stories. Okay, cool. Which is the one I'm supposed to read? What is it called? I need to know. I need titles on these things. I need titles on these things because the link doesn't take me to anything. The link doesn't do it for me. Like if I click that link, it goes to my browser and it opens up my Discord server in my browser. I mean, I guess I can do it that way. That seems kind of silly to me, but the link is kind of weird. Okay, anyway, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. Is this the one right here? Okay, somebody posted this today. It's by Dreams. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna react to this post. We'll do bacon. All right. I gotta make this bigger. Can't actually read it. There we go. Okay, cool. I actually haven't shared this one before, despite it happening a long while ago. These are actually two small ones. The first involved a game master who ran one campaign 1 week, the other week. Tyranny of Dragons 1 week, Curse of Strahd the other. Now, Curse of Strahd is a cool campaign. I ran that. I don't even own Tyranny of Dragons. Basically, there were several red flags from this game master and the players. The game master made us roll for stats, and there was a huge disparity between character stats. Well, duh. Okay, look at this. This happens every time you roll for stats. Anytime you roll for stats and don't use point buy or standard array, there's always going to be a disparity. And especially if you don't have them roll for stats in front of you while you're watching, because there are some players who will just magically have super high stats. It happens. So you got to watch them roll for this crap. But this is always going to happen when you roll for stats. There's always going to be a disparity. That's just the nature of it. And the game master complained about the fighter after giving him favoritism with powerful magic items. You stupid. Okay. Okay, look it. I did this once. I once gave a paladin sorcerer Splash who had a shield and everything and a high armor class. I once gave him a cloak of displacement. He was nigh unhittable. But I fully recognize that that was my fault. I did that. It was on me. I did not blame the character. I didn't blame the player. I like jokingly complained about it. You know, Dalinar was unhittable and all this kind of stuff, but I knew it was my fault. It wasn't the player's fault. Like, duh. And the game master mocked his players with long descriptions when we missed an attack. I mean, there's a playful way to do that. I do this sort of thing. Wait a second. Is this story about me? Hold on a second. No, because I haven't run Tyranny of Dragons. Okay. There is a playful way to kind of rib and poke fun of your players when they miss attacks and do other things. I do this all the time. Look at it. This is, I don't know, maybe I'm just weird this way, but this is how I show, like, you know, that I like somebody, affection, camaraderie, and things like that. You know, it's like when you're ribbing them, the poking of fun at the thing, like they do something stupid and then you're kind of making fun of them. Like, for me, this is like how, like, I don't know, it's like you do that to people that you like, but in a playful way, right? And I have actually gotten in trouble. People have gotten upset at me because they can't properly interpret the playfulness, right, of me, even though I'm like kind of being playful and smiling and stuff. Anyway, it gets me in trouble. So I have to be careful of who I make fun of because they don't understand that I make fun of them because I like them. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, the game master joked consistently about killing our characters in Tyranny of Dragons. I joke about killing characters all the time. This story is about me. This person changed some of the things to make it. Who is this? This person was in my game. Oh my gosh, I gotta figure out who this was. I joke about killing characters all the time. You ask any of my players. You ask my Ancient Dragon players. They're my patrons who play D&D with me. You ask them every single game session. We start out with a prediction. Like we have this, my wife and I have this custom where before every game that I run, I will ask my wife is, before the game starts, I'll be off with my wife and I'll ask her, should I kill them or not today? And my wife always tells me what I should do. Like someday, like, what was it? We had a game on Easter and she was like, no, don't kill them because it's Easter. Okay. And then I had a game after Easter was over and she's like, well, Easter's over. So yes, kill them all. So we'll do this thing where she gives her prediction of whether I should kill the characters or not. And then before my games, at the very beginning of the games, I'll tell my players, well, guys, it sounds like tonight you're all gonna die because my wife has predicted that tonight I should kill you. And so I have this little tradition and things with all my players and my wife where I jokingly talk about their deaths. Now the irony is that when my wife tells me to kill them, they all survive. And when my wife tells me not to kill them, that's when people are in trouble. And so it's this, I don't know, anyway, it's cool. And I joke about killing characters all the time. It happens fairly rarely, except in my Pathfinder 2 game. It doesn't happen quite as much anymore in my Pathfinder 2 game. It did at the beginning. When we first started running, they were dying left and right. It was like, blah, 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 blah. But now I've kind of figured things out a little bit better and I can modulate the death. But I joke about that all the time. Again, this is a way, that's camaraderie for me. Shouted at one of his players. Yeah, I don't like that. I swear this is about me. I did shout at a player once. I remember one time I shouted at a player. This player was, well, the player shouted at another player. The player was getting really upset at another player about something. And so I got upset with the player who was shouting at the other player, and I started to shout at that player. And so I remember that, and I did not like that behavior on my part. And so after that game session, this was like a couple years ago, so I don't remember if I apologized to the group or not. I just don't remember. But I do definitely remember thinking, okay, Luke, you lost your cool with that player. Don't do that again. You got to be calm and collected about this stuff, right? So I remember I did shout at a player once, and that did not sit well with me. So I got to remember not to do that crap. But he was out of line. He was out of line. I don't know. Maybe some people will justify it based upon the situation, but I just remember that that's not how I like to treat people. And so even if it was justified, I don't want to shout at people. Okay, also, as a player, he would talk badly about the GM and other players to me in private DMs. I've never done that before in DMs. So I'm pretty sure this might not be about me, unless this is a red herring. This might be a red herring to throw us off topic. It might still be about me. Oh, there's another game master. Okay, so maybe this one's a different game master and it's not me. The next game master was running a campaign for us. He didn't read the book, didn't prep the maps, and leaned on me to handle all the tech. Had me use the fog of war for him, etc. Yeah, this is... If you're running a campaign, you have to read the stupid campaign book. You have to do that. What an idiot. You gotta prep, man. I remember, so I was talking to one of my friends was telling me once he was invited to a game by another game master. We'll call the game master Evan, random name. And let's say my friend's name was Timmy. So Timmy was invited to this game with Evan. Will you quit trying to bite me? Like, why? What do you have in the brain that makes you want to bite me? Why? I'm gonna bite you back one of these days. You know that? You big fluffy bucket. You're such a baby. And then he goes right back to biting me. I'm gonna bite you. So Timmy went to the game with Evan, right? And Evan was one of those game masters who boasted about not needing to prep for his game. He's like, oh, I don't prep for my games. I never prep, and my players love my games. I run these games and they're awesome. I don't do any prep. He was one of these no prep boasters, right? And so Timmy was in his game for 2 game sessions, maybe. And then people stopped showing up because the game sucked. And then Timmy came back. This is funny because I remember I knew Evan as well. And so I remember Evan doing all of this boasting, like about not having to prep and stuff, because I'm a huge advocate of prepping for your games. The more prep you do, the better your game is probably going to be. And so I remember Evan boasting about not prepping. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I was like rolling my eyes internally, right? And then as it so happened later on, Timmy joined his game for a couple game sessions and then later told me, yeah, his games suck, dude. His games totally suck. You could tell that he was pulling everything out of his butt. The games were super slow too, because he had to improvise everything on the fly. Things just crawled along because nothing was prepped. It took so long. There was like no action. It was crazy, boring, and stupid. And so we all just stopped going. So yeah. Anyway, that's a tangentially related story, I believe, about a non-prepper. Okay, and then back to the story about the game master who didn't prep the module. The NPCs were flat and just bags of meat to hit. When it came to the baddies, the NPCs we interacted with bland. He was constantly flipping through the book looking for things. Yes, okay, check this out. So like, when I run a module, my goal of prepping for the module is that I do enough prep so that during gameplay, I don't need to refer to the module too much. I certainly don't look things up, right? There might be read aloud text that I read, or it might have a list of loot that's in a room. Of course, I'm gonna read that. But like, I try to minimize how much I reference the module itself while I'm running the game. That's my level of prep that I go for. And so I once had a game master who was running Curse of Strahd for us, and he was flipping through that book like a madman constantly, just looking stuff up. You could tell that he probably didn't prep that hardly at all. And that is not how you run a module. Like, I have a video on my channel that talks about how to prep for a module, the things that you do to get ready to run a module. And that modules aren't an excuse not to prep. They give you pre-made content by professional writers and game designers, theoretically, that you can then prepare and run at your game table. It probably reduces your prep time and then gives you something really cool to do with your players, but it doesn't mean you don't prep and can't prep. That is not how you run a module. Anyway, he got snappy when a lot of us dropped out of the game and snapped at a person who said they were skipping because that person's cat had died. Well, you know, okay, let's just be honest. Like, the number one sign that your game sucks is when your players start leaving. Number one sign. Like a lot of people, a question that a lot of people have, or a problem that a lot of people have with game masters, they'll say, well, my players keep leaving my games. Why do my players keep leaving my games? How do I get my players to stay? My players always have problems with scheduling. They always have all of these things that come up. My players keep leaving. And I have said it before, like, if your players keep leaving your games, the problem is probably not them. You need to look at making your games better. Making your games things that the players enjoy and have fun at, because then they're going to figure out excuses to come to your game instead of doing that other thing, right? Their cat might die, but they're going to be like, no, I'm not missing this game because this game is amazing and I can cry tomorrow. Besides which, we all know that a lot of these excuses people come up with are just excuses and they're not actually true, you know? But in our polite society, people don't just literally say, hey, you know what, your game's not that good. I'm not gonna spend 4 hours every week at your game because it's not that good. So I'm just gonna bow out. Thank you, I appreciate it. No, people make up polite excuses such as cats dying and stuff to not come to your game. But if your players are leaving your games, number one thing you can do to get better retention is to make your games better. If your games are awesome and amazing and they love being there, they will figure out a way to be at your game. They will. They will. The Rocket Couch says, the guy is just killing cats to get out of D&D sessions. This cat is licking himself. Check this out. Squeaky, what are you doing there, buddy? We're on live stream. I'm licking myself. It's like, well, that's not appropriate. Why did you do that? But you're just licking yourself on my live stream. I was off camera. That wasn't nice. That was not nice at all. Man. All right. I'm gonna bio and get some coffee. I'm gonna play a video for you. I don't know what it's about. Have fun.
The Secret Art of Game Mastery is available now. Over 100 years of accumulated game mastery.
I was playing a video for our last Kickstarter. Let's see if I can find a video for a different Kickstarter. Here we go. No, that's the last Kickstarter. Let's see. Here we go. Here, this video is probably better.
Are you a dungeon master? Face. If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then you're just like me. Not only do you enjoy smashing players in the face with your axe every time they metagame, but you're also a busy person, and while prepping for a D&D game, well, sometimes that's hard. And as much as you'd like to force one of your players to run D&D for a change, well, they all suck, so it's pretty much up to you to be the forever dungeon master. And that's exactly why I get out my crayons every month and write a new issue of Lair magazine. Well, I mean, it's not just me, I have a team of people too. We all get out our crayons and write it, but yeah. Anyway, every issue of Lair magazine contains 5th edition Dungeon Master resources to help you reduce your prep time while still running amazing games for your lazy, good-for-nothing players. Every issue of Lair magazine contains 2 to 3 adventures complete with maps for online play. You know, we also sprinkle in other stuff like puzzles and traps, which, let's be honest, both suck to have to make yourself. So, I mean, wouldn't you rather just become a DM Lair patron and pay me to write them for you? I mean, you know, my team and I with our crayons. Now, if you love your wonderful players as much as I do, consider helping me to meet my sales quota by becoming a DM Lair patron today at the link below. You'll get a new issue of Lair magazine every month and other cool stuff like map packs and bonus adventures. Okay, that's it. Please become a DM Lair patron now or I will find you.
All right. All right, let's find another one to read here. Go to that one. I did that one. Oh, here's a cool. Okay, check this out. My friend's first time GMing was really bad. All right, medium length, so it's not super long. What? We only have 16 likes on this video? Oh man, we gotta get some more likes. People hit the thumbs up button. This is crazy. I mean, I know I'm not like super handsome or anything, but like I don't suck that bad, do I? Maybe I do. Maybe I'm just deluded. I've deluded myself. My friend's first time GMing was really bad, period. So my friend wanted to try being a dungeon master after me DMing him for a while. He told me that it would have a body system and had a story I was interested in. A body system? What is a body system? What's a body? Does anybody know what a body system is? Does anybody know what that means? He told me that it would have a body system. What's a body system? What is a body system in D&D? What the heck does that mean? What is a body system in D&D? What the heck is a body system? Okay, hold on. This is actually a thing. Apparently this is a thing. What the heck? Okay, in Dungeons and Dragons, a body system is a system that includes organs, cells, blood veins, bones, capillaries, and water. The body also has many systems that keep the body upright and alive. For example, the respiratory system includes that players learn what each part looks like, what it's made of, how it works, and how it connects to the next part. What? This doesn't make any sense. For example, in the God Corpse adventure, players learn about the respiratory system, which includes encounters, challenges, and NPCs. Players also encounter mephits, oozes, and jellyfishes that correspond to their respective organs. What does this even mean? Like, I understand conceptually, kind of, but what? Challenges include dealing with stomach acid and collapsing lungs. Some say that the lungs, kidney, liver, and the end of the intestines have secret passages to the circulatory. What is this crap? Which is a flowing, is it just a dungeon in the shape of a body? Is that all it is? Is it a dungeon inside a body? What the heck is this? In melee combat, each body part has the possibility of becoming non-functional from a well-placed blow. For example, in Tordek fighting an ogre in melee combat, Tordek rolls a d12 to see which part of the ogre's body he hits. Wait a second. What? What the heck is this? Or are we talking about called shots, or are we talking about fighting inside a corpse? I have no idea what the heck this is. I am baffled by this body system concept. I have no idea what the heck this is. We're just gonna go back to the game or the story and roll with it. The tangents. Okay, so he told me that it would have a body system and a story I was interested in. He got my other friend to play also. I'll call the DM and my other friend. Okay, that makes sense. I understand that part. So we start playing and he skims past everything so fast, but I excuse it for his first time. Well, what is he skimming by? Skimming by what? We fight some enemies and eventually went into a spider cave, my bad judgment, and fight some weird spiders. Why was it a bad judgment to go into a spider cave? It's the game, right? Go on adventures, have fun, kill stuff. I eventually break the eye on its back, but it does nothing. Okay, so the body system must mean that like you can do called shots. Okay, there are called shots in the game. And if you break something's eye, it like has an effect in the game or something. Or if you break its leg, it has an effect in the game. That must be what it is. So we're introducing some complexity into the game. Okay, I got it. I think I'm on the same page now. I address how I'm a bit annoyed because I thought I was supposed to do that, and it basically goes like this. Okay, so he attacks a spider, hits the eye in the back, it breaks the eye, but nothing happens mechanically. And the player is upset that nothing happens mechanically because there's supposed to be a body system, and then there's going to be a conversation here. But at least the player addresses the fact that he's a bit annoyed. Because a lot of players won't even tell the game master that they don't like the game. This happened to me once. Like I had a player who was not happy with something that happened in the game. And instead of talking to me, she just rage quit. She did an epic rage quit. She had an epic rage quit and she peaced out. Instead of talking to me and trying to resolve things and telling me why X, Y, and Z. It was crazy. Anyway, because there are players that won't talk to you. They won't act like civilized adults and have a conversation with the game master. They just freak out and rage quit. So I can at least say that this player is doing the right thing. They're having a conversation like an adult with the game master when something doesn't sit right with them. That is amazing. I breathed coffee. I was trying to clear that crap out. Okay, so here we go. Here's the conversation. Wait, that did nothing? Yep. Well, I thought that's what you wanted me to do. No, that was just camouflage. So the eye on the back of the spider was just camouflage? Me. Well, I don't really like that I wasted a couple turns attacking it with no warning for nothing. DM, you don't know these things. Didn't you notice how one spider went blind after its antenna was ripped off? Okay, so, I mean, that makes sense. You know, in character, the character doesn't know that the eye doesn't do anything. I mean, this actually makes sense. This is totally the type of thing that a game master would do. They build an enemy that has protective mechanisms in place. So here's the spider. It has fake eyes on it. There are fake eyes, so that when those eyes are attacked, it essentially does nothing, because the way it actually sees are the antennas. The way that it sees are the antennas. And as the player is supposed to figure out that, oh, that is camouflage, the eyes don't actually do anything. Oh, it's the antenna. The antenna are the way to defeat this creature. Like, that's not bad. That's actually intelligent creature design, in my opinion. Like, and it even sounds like the game master was giving hints that the antennas are the way that the spider sees. That seems logical to me. So that seems like the game master is doing some intelligent monster design into their game. That doesn't seem like any shenanigans to me, especially if they were telegraphing it, especially if there were clues. Although I know that my friend is known for being rude, he acknowledges it. I was just pretty annoyed at this. The game master didn't do anything wrong. It sounds like he created a creature that did X things, and you just didn't know that it did X things, and so your actions weren't very effective, and then you got upset because your actions weren't effective. That's what that sounds like. You got upset because, wow, I didn't know the thing that I wish I had known. I had a player, this happened to me once, so I literally had a player who there was a flying creature with a saddle on it. I think it was a flying horse, maybe like a Pegasus or something, I don't know what it was. And then there was a person mounted on it, and my player wanted to cut the saddle off. They wanted to cut the saddle off. And so they were like, I attacked the saddle straps, and they made some attack rolls and stuff. And anyway, they used their turn trying to cut the saddle straps, and they were not successful in cutting all of the saddle straps and dumping the rider onto the ground. And the player got upset, and they were like, well, if I would have known that wouldn't work, I would have never tried it. I want to do something else in my turn. And I'm just like, dude, your character doesn't know what your character doesn't know. And if cutting saddle straps were that easy, everyone in history would be cutting saddle straps, because it's the easiest way to get a rider off from the mount and render the mount useless. And if it were that easy to cut saddle straps, then they would reinforce saddle straps with like pieces of metal or something, so that they couldn't get cut that easily. And so you're attempting to do something that is very challenging and difficult, and then when you're not successful at it, you get upset at me. And then, anyway, that was that player's last game session with us. He was pieced out of that game. But anyway, it's like, you can't, if your character doesn't know a thing and you're attempting a thing and it's not successful, you can't get upset later because you should have known or something. Like, no. Anyway, what's the rest of this? Then we kill the spiders and we eat them for their abilities, and I choose to get more legs, where after he said they're useless, as they are on my back. What? I thought he was going to have it as normal legs, but just said they're useless and praised his friend for picking a different option. Both were against me. So I feel like the game master is in the right for this first part, but this part kind of sucks because you ate legs and they end up being useless. And if the spiders were literally walking around on legs and they were clearly had a use when the spiders were using them, and then the players eat them and don't get that use, now that's bullcrap. That's stupid bullcrap. I don't know if I'm just taking this wrong or something, but I would appreciate some input. Like, yeah, I think you're half right and you're half wrong. Half right, half wrong. So the game master is in the right and in the wrong. I think you both made a misstep in the different parts of that story. Live Cleric says, I didn't know I would roll a nat 1 on my attack. I want to do something different instead. Yeah, that was kind of the essence of it with my player. Yeah. Are we telling stories in chat? It looks like people are telling stories in chat too. My guess is they probably ripped the hit locations from Cyberpunk 2020. Each limb and his head had separate hit points. Yeah, I think that's the body system. It was something like that. Yeah. Yeah, this is clearly not a Q&A stream. This stream is literally what the title of the stream says. We're reacting to RPG horror stories. When I do Q&A streams, the title of the stream says Q&A. So I try, and I put it in the description as well. So I try to be clear about it, but I do recognize that I mostly do Q&A streams, and we're doing something different today. But yeah, today is not a Q&A stream. All right, Matthew Chamberlain, what's up, dude? Now I gotta be careful what I say because he's in one of my games. Okay, I gotta can't say anything bad. All right, let's find another story. How long is this story? Long. Oh my goodness. It's not that long. It's not as long as the first one. That first one was crazy long. Crazy long. By the way, guys, before we hit the next story, our Layers and Legends 2 Kickstarter is currently running. We are very close to hitting our next stretch goal and unlocking more adventures for the book Layers and Legends 2. So those are the alt covers you can see right there. Those are beautiful. I can't wait to have those on my shelf. And the regular covers are no slouches either. So basically, if you back this Kickstarter, you're going to get 2 big fat books filled with 30 adventures, 30 plus adventures, because we're going to hit some stretch goals. We're going to hit some stretch goals. Over 100 monsters, 30 traps, 30 puzzles, standalone encounters, magic items, rule sets, monster templates that you can apply to any monster. We have tons of cool crap in these books. These books are big, beefy boys. Each of them is over 300 pages. Layers of Legends 2 is probably going to push the 400 page mark. When we publish books, they are not 100 page pamphlets. They are not. We don't charge $50 or something for 100 pages and then screw you all over. We give you big, beefy boys. That's what these books are. So if you want to get some cool, awesome, amazing books with artwork filled with amazing artwork, head over to Layers of Legends 2. And remember, you get special Kickstarter exclusive pricing while the Kickstarter is live. And the Kickstarter ends next week. So time is running out. They put like some time pressure on you, like some sleazy marketer dude. It's actually just true. It literally is ending next week. What are you gonna do? All right, where was this? I had one more story. Well, where's the story that I was gonna read? There it is. Okay, here's our next story, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That guy cleric blinds entire party with his own OP homebrew spell, attracts a Tarrasque. What? OP homebrew spell. Yeah, but ultimately the game master is the one that decides whether a spell gets into the game or not. So bear that in mind as we read this. The game master is the yes or no man when it comes to like something coming into the game. All right, edit. Added the detail that it's a 5th edition campaign for clarity. Also, the description of the spell disappeared, so I fixed that. Okay, cool. Is that a thing where you have to tell people why you edited the post? Because they're gonna wonder why you edited it? I don't know. So, I recently started playing in a public paid D&D 5e campaign at my local friendly game shop. Each week, there are usually about 8 players plus the DM. It's a pretty rules lax game, so few rules. I think a lot of 5th edition games are run that way. With a greater focus on character roleplay and social interactions than tactical combat. Okay, so people sitting around the table talking in character a lot. That sounds like the game. And then they're probably using special voices and stuff. Okay, so it doesn't actually resemble D&D 5th edition much at all. It's just kind of like a generic roleplay game where you just sit around and talk in character a lot. Okay, I see those games a lot on like Twitch and stuff, where everybody's like trying to be the next Critical Role. You want to come back up here and bite me? Typically only 1 combat encounter per 4-hour session. Okay. Yeah, it's combat light, but you know, that's not too bad. There's one guy in the campaign who happens to be quite the power gamer. Why are you a power gamer in this campaign? Look. If you're in a campaign where you mostly sit around the table talking in character, being a power gamer is mostly useless. There's no reason, if you're a power gamer in that campaign, you should leave that group and go to a group where there's combat. Because like, otherwise, what's the point of being a power gamer? Like, you're not going to, like, if you're just sitting around talking, which I'm not knocking that style of play. People like doing that. Play the game you want to play. That's fine. But like, if they're just gonna sit around and talk, then, and mechanics are minimalized and rules are minimalized, then being a power gamer, you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be supremely disappointed as a power gamer. That's not the game for you. You need to find a game that plays to your, that presents the stuff that you want to play in. Otherwise, anyway, I don't even know where he's going with this, but this is not the campaign for a power gamer. He's quite the power gamer, henceforth referred to as cleric. Okay, so this is the cleric. So the cleric is the power gamer the cleric that we talk about in the title. We rolled for stats, but the DM didn't supervise or even look over everyone's sheets, as far as I can tell. Okay, so the game master doesn't give a flying crap. This guy started the campaign with 6, 12, 18, 11, 18, 18 for his stats. Variant Human, of course, Variant Human, get the free feed at level 1. Twilight Domain Cleric. Twilight Domain Cleric! Isn't that the one that's like pretty universally considered to be broken and screwed up? Can people confirm in chat? I'm pretty sure Twilight Domain Cleric is the one that many game masters ban because it's crazy OP. And then the stat rolls. So look at the stat rolls, you guys. 16, 12, 18, 11, 18, 18. This is like, so like if you're a power gamer and you want to prove that you didn't cheat on rolling your ability scores, that's exactly what you do. You throw in the 12 and the 11 on things that you really don't need, because that way, well, I got a 12 and 11. I can't be accused of cheating, even though a 12 and 11 are above average for a human. And then you have 3 18s and a 16. Wow. Yes, there you go. Clear power gamer, clearly cheated on the stat rolls. Like, I've gotten lucky on stat rolls and when I played in games where you roll your stats, but like, dude, nobody gets that lucky. That's remember back in the day when we played Dungeons and Dragons on our and remember the old school Dungeons and Dragons, like the AD&D games where you could roll stats and you would just click the button over and over and over again until you eventually got a set of stats that looked really, really good. Remember those games, like, you know, Curse of the Azure Bonds and what did they call them? There was something about silver or something, I don't know, but those old school D&D games where you just click the button over and over again to get good stats. Remember those games? Those are cool. All right. Anyway, Twilight Domain Cleric. Are people confirming? Yes, so people are confirming that Twilight Domain Cleric is infamously broken. Okay, cool. Excellent. Oh, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 did that as well, where you click the button over and over again. Oh yeah, I would be the guy clicking the button over and over again to get the best stats possible. 100%, 100%. Okay, continuing the story. So this is the Twilight Domain Cleric. He also tried to start out at level 1 with full plate armor. Why wouldn't you, if you can get away with it? And both a halberd and a shield equipped. A halberd is a two-handed weapon, good sir. Oh my goodness, my cat's freaking out over here. Oh, that's the wrong one. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this, but like, if they come back on camera, my cat Twitch was freaking out and running. Here he is. Here he is. Look at him. You can kind of see him. They're chasing each other around the pile of boxes. Twitch is all worked up, running around. These are my IKEA boxes I have. You notice that like my shelves over there are all empty. I have new furniture that I have to assemble and put together. Those are my new bookcases that will be there eventually. I'm probably gonna be able to do that on Monday. I think I'm gonna have time on Monday. Anyway, let's continue the story. But I guess the DM at least paid attention to equipment because he was gone after the campaign started. Oh, that was gone. Okay, the halberd and shield were gone after the campaign started. He pretty clearly fudged his rolls or just manually set those stats because you'd have to be insanely lucky to get 3 18s and a 16, even with racial bonuses. Yeah. This guy also tends to clash with the party quite a lot, often making decisions that are unhelpful at best and actively antagonistic at worst. Okay. Yep. I had a player I kicked out of my game. He did the same thing. He did the exact same thing. This combined with the DM's seemingly limited rules knowledge. Oh my gosh. Okay, look. I don't have a problem with game masters who want to run rules light games. Like, that's the type of game you want to run, that's cool. You run the game you want to run. Sweet. But when you don't even know the rules, so like, look. If you don't want to read and learn the rules, that's fine. You have limited time, you don't have an interest in it, that's fine. But don't play a game like D&D 5th edition that has lots of rules. Go to something like Shadow Dark that has very simple rules that you can read in like 30 minutes probably and start playing. Like, use a game system like that where the rules are so light that it's a breeze to read them through, and then you can play the game. Don't pick a rules-heavy game like D&D 5th edition if you don't want to use the rules. If you don't want to read the rules and you don't want to use the rules, don't pick that game system. Pick a different game system that's more suited to what you want to play, the campaign that you want to run. Pick a game system that's suited to that. Don't pick... I feel like people pick D&D 5th edition just because it's like the most well-known game system. But it doesn't make it the best system, and it doesn't make it the best system for your purposes either. Pick something different. Okay, so the DM had limited rules knowledge, and it has led to some frustrating and confusing experiences. Last night was probably the worst example thus far. Yeah, if the game master doesn't know the rules, that can cause problems. It absolutely can. We are currently level 3, and we had just finished a side quest and we're trying to rest for the night. Nobody stood watch. That sounds like a player problem. So we ended up getting ambushed by 3 displacer beasts. Yeah, you should have stood watch. Cleric's first move. He uses some sort of ability that causes every creature in a 50-foot radius around him to make a DC 14 Dex save or be blinded for 3 turns. Almost everyone failed the save. Is that a thing? Is there a spell that causes every creature in 50-foot radius to make a Dex save or be blinded for 3 turns? I don't think that's a thing. I have never heard of that spell. This must be, you know what? This must be the homebrew spell. This is the homebrew spell that the OP is talking about in the title. I bet he's gonna tell us that in a second. I was quite surprised at this, as I had never heard of such an ability before. I just chalked it up to being some weird channel divinity ability I've never seen before, since I don't know much about cleric subclasses. Yeah, nobody's ever heard of that before. Combine this with the DM not understanding how dark vision works. He claimed that we actually had low light vision and couldn't see without a light source, but it was simply nighttime outdoors. There was no magical darkness or anything that would prevent dark vision from working. He also suddenly introduced a new homebrew rule that if we gang up on a monster, we roll with advantage, essentially giving everyone pack tactics, I guess. So this is a pet peeve of mine. I love game masters who homebrew. Like, you want to homebrew the rules, you want to create things that are suited for your campaign, yay. You do that thing. Homebrew those rules. Make the campaign what you want it to be. If that's your thing, make it that way, right? So there's a point, obviously, at which you homebrew so much that it no longer resembles the original game system, but whatever, it doesn't probably matter a whole lot most of the time. But the thing that really annoys me is when a game master takes a game system that they don't know that well. They don't even know the rules that well, and they start homebrewing without even knowing the rules. This annoys me to know, because it's like, you don't even know the rules and you're homebrewing stuff. Like, that's gonna go badly. You're gonna introduce unintended consequences. You're gonna screw things up. There are gonna be problems with that. There will be. It's like, if you want to homebrew, that's great, but learn the rules first. Ideally, play the game system as is, vanilla, out of the box for like a couple years maybe, before you start screwing around with it, because you gotta know the mechanics, you gotta know how things work before you can reliably make changes that are going to have the intended effects. Otherwise, you're going to make changes and they're going to be unintended effects because you don't know the game system that well. So learn the system first before you start playing around and toying around with the inner workings of it. That's my theory on that, but not everybody follows that, obviously. Whatever. And we get stories like this one. Okay, so he's homebrewing some stuff and you all get pack tactics. That's the other problem. That's the other problem with homebrewing stuff when you don't know the game system, because you can invalidate other features. You can invalidate things that other players can do when you just pull something out of your butt and you don't know how things work. This resulted in a chaotic hour-long combat where people were constantly arguing over whether attacks were at advantage, disadvantage, or normal, with almost everyone being blinded, aside from Cleric and one other player. So during this combat, Cleric also attempted to claim that since a nearby Displacer Beast was blinded and he was quietly standing still, the Displacer Beast shouldn't be able to find him, despite him running around in half-plate armor and moving right past it without a stealth roll just one turn before. This is something that happened in one of my games too. No, this happens in almost every game where there is a Warlock who takes that feature where they can see through magical darkness. This happens in every game. So you have a Warlock, they can see through magical darkness, and then lo and behold, they drop the darkness spell down on a combat. And it's great for them because now they have advantage on all their attacks with Eldritch Blast. But it's horrible for a lot of the party members because they can't see anymore. And especially if you're a spellcaster, you need to be able to see. And some of the features and abilities you have to be able to see. And so I have seen this happen in many times where this Warlock is using this feature and it's beneficial for them, but it ends up screwing over the rest of their party. I've seen that before. And I run games at conventions, and I was at GaryCon this year. So like a couple months ago, I was at GaryCon and I was running a game. And I have pre-gen characters that I give out to my players. And one of my players took the Warlock, and my Warlock pre-gen does not give the ability to see in magical darkness. With reason, for good reason. And one of the first things that player asked me at the convention game was, hey, can I change their ability here so that they can pick the one to see in magical darkness? And I was like, no, I'm sorry, I'd prefer you don't change those things. Like, I didn't tell them why, but I knew exactly what that player was going to do. They were going to pick the ability to see in magical darkness, and then they were going to start dropping darkness on the entire party. And it was just going to make things, I knew exactly what they wanted to do, which is why exactly the Warlock did not get that ability in my pre-gen. Anyway, I'm just a miserly jerk, I suppose. Okay, so back to our story. You have a chaotic battle. Nobody knows what's going on. Darkness, disadvantage, advantage, who knows? Pack tactics. A few rounds later, DM describes us hearing loud stomping coming from the woods. And the Displacer Beasts all start to run away in fear. It turns out to be a Tarrasque that was attracted by Cleric's suspiciously powerful ability. Are you freaking kidding me? This guy... I'll reiterate that we are a level 3 party, so seeing such a creature was questionable. Well, the Game Master kind of it's in his prerogative to do what he wants, but if you do what you want, your players might not like it. Needless to say, we all ran away. We managed to escape thanks to our horse and wagon, but we all had to roll on the long-term madness table out of pure fear. Yeah, the long-term madness table is not that bad. The short-term madness is horrible. Oh, it's really bad. The shenanigans of this session pretty much end here, and I felt very confused. One short drive home later, I hop on D&D Beyond and check Cleric's character sheet again, and he suddenly has this new spell I've never seen before. It reads as follows. This is the new spell. Oh, whoops. Oh, shoot. Infernal Light Illusion Cantrip. At will. Bonus action, of course. It's cast at will. Of course it is. This is the homebrew. So 99% of homebrew is horribly broken and overpowered. It's just, my team and I, yeah, this is something we've learned. I will leave it at that. Range, self, 50 feet. Components, none. There are no components. You don't even have to have, there's no verbal component. There's no somatic component. There's no material component. You don't even have to have any components. You just stand there and it happens at will as a bonus action. It's a cantrip. Duration 10 rounds. Attacker save, dexterity 14. Cast out a blindingly bright light from the top of their head. Any creature within a 50-foot radius must make a dexterity saving throw to shield their eyes or be blinded for 3 turns. Creature with a low light or dark vision, make this roll at disadvantage. The light diminishes after its initial flare, but illuminates an area of 30 feet from the caster for a total of 10 minutes. Oh my word. That's about the most broken spell you could possibly come up with. But you know what? Here's the thing though. Like, the player clearly made a crazy broken spell. But the cleric player. But the game master allowed it in the game. So the buck stops at the game master. If they allowed it in the game, it's on them. But the game master doesn't know the game rules that well, so they probably don't have a whole lot of, experience or game knowledge or rule mechanics knowledge to know whether that's a good spell or a broken spell. So another argument for the game master learning the rules of the game system that they're running to a reasonable extent. You're obviously never going to know an expert on everything until you've played it for a long time. Like, you're not going to know all the rules until you've played it for like a long time. Granted, but you got to learn something. Otherwise, you allow crap like that into the game. So you have to do your due diligence to a certain extent if you're running games. Okay. Immediately, something seemed very off to me. Yeah, haha. So I look up this cantrip and it's not even publicly published homebrew on D&D Beyond. No kidding. It's literally a spell this guy just created himself and added to his sheet, presumably without DM approval. Okay, well, now that's a different thing. If he did it without DM approval, 100% different thing. I don't know how he got away with it, but it really left a sour taste in my mouth. Yeah, that sounds like some horse crap. I had a player once, so yes, if the player did not get DM permission and just added it to their sheet, that's horse crappery, obviously. I had a player once who they literally modified, they were a spellcaster, they were a wizard. They literally modified their intelligence score. At the time we were using D&D Beyond, and they had their character sheet on D&D Beyond. And they literally changed their intelligence score. They gave themselves a +6 to intelligence. Like, on their character sheet in D&D Beyond, you can modify, there's a way to edit and modify your ability scores. You can give yourself bonuses and stuff. This player had given himself a +6 or something to his intelligence. And what happened one day, we were literally playing the game, and one of my other players was like, "Hey guys, that like I think the wizard had like a saving throw I had to make because they were fighting me." And another player was like, "Hey Luke, that saving throw seems really high. How is it that high?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let's go take a look at the character sheet." And we literally found in the character sheet that this player had added a +6 to their character sheet. They had manually edited their character sheet to add a +6. And I asked the player, I was like, "Dude, how did you get a +6 in your character sheet?" And he's like, oh, I don't know. I must have gotten a bonus sometime and I edited it in and I forgot to take it out. I don't know. So anyway, that was their last game session with us. They didn't get dismissed from the game purely based upon that. That was the proverbial camel that broke the straw's back, or the straw that broke the camel's back. There was a history of problems and things that were an issue, and that was the thing that was finally enough's enough. I think we're done here. So, but yeah, players do that. Players try to sneak things by the game master, and the game master, I mean, either you're vigilant or you trust your players or you just don't care, a mix of those or whatever. I mean, it just depends. Now, do I check over all of my characters, all of my players' character sheets? No, I don't. I don't have time for that. You know, I just trust them to do it properly. And if I catch one of them cheating, well, then, you know, there'll be a conversation around that. But so it's one of those things that I'm not going to check over every detail of your character sheet. You know, most of my players, all of my players are adults, and most of us are 30 years or older, if not. I have a couple that are a little bit younger. They might be in their 20s, but most of us are like mature adults, and we enjoy playing the game. And I don't know, some of them might cheat here and there, maybe, but it's nothing to bat an eye at. If they are doing it, I just trust them to get it done and not cheat, you know? If I were playing with younger players, I would probably be more vigilant about cheating. I don't know, but anyway. There we go. Copper Lord says Luke runs very fun games, lots of talkie in them. I like the talkie. I love social interactions. I also enjoy combat. There's a lot of combat in my games as well. So there's a lot of social interactions, there's a lot of talkie, but there's also a lot of combat. I love combat too. And there's also a really good amount of exploration, because I build my games around all three pillars to make sure that it appeals to all player types. So there's lots of exploration as well. This is just the way that I build my games. So yeah, but I personally enjoy the talkie stuff. I enjoy making the stupid voices and stuff, and I'm better at them. Sometimes I'm good at that. I feel like I'm better at them. Other game sessions, I know I suck at them. So anyway, but it's fun. It's all fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we need to draw the winner to our giveaway. This is the last call to sign up for the giveaway. There is a link down in the chat that you can click and go join the giveaway. This is your last chance. I'll give you about a minute or two. We are giving away $50 DM Lair store credit, so you can get a whole bunch of cool books. Print books are back in stock, and we have digital products as well over there that you can buy. PDFs and map packs. We have Foundry VTT, Adventures and Monsters as well that you can get over on the DM Lair store. And then our physical books, for instance, are Into the Fae. Physical books are back in stock if you want to get that. And we also have Lairs and Legends and Loot and Lore over on the store as well that you can grab. So, yeah, go sign up for the giveaway. Minimalist is going off the D&D. Bye, dude. Have fun. Copper Lord, you're going to get Into the Fae. Into the Fae is very good. It's very good. I wrote it, so I think I have to say that. But it's very good. Anybody who creates a product and says that it's not good is a moron. Like, if you create something and you don't think it's any good, why are you selling it? Why are you, yeah, so you really should believe in your own work. Yeah, the Lairs and Legends books are good too. If you win, you can't go wrong with Lairs and Legends and Loot and Lore. Those books are solid as well. Very, very solid. I'm just trolling through chat here. Oh, Goliath Cleric says, I was the player that asked why the DC was so high. Yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but now you've outed yourself. Yeah, it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was a little bit ago. Yeah. What would happen when one of the monsters uses that spell? That's a good question, Copper Lord. If one of the monsters uses that cantrip, that would be... Matthew Chamberlain says, can I use this cantrip? No. No. Matthew's in my game. That is totally no. All right, let's draw the winner of the giveaway, and then we're going to get out of here. Giveaway winner. Here we go. Giveaway winner. Oh, my computer's going slow. Mr. Gore says, random question. You've impersonated Dungeon Dudes and XP to level 3. I also impersonated Dungeon Coach. When do we get a Professor DM impersonation? I don't. I mean, I could do that and it would be fun. I just don't want to ruffle feathers, you know, like I know Professor DM, he and I are buds, and I don't want to make a video that he would be upset about. So I guess I could send him a text and ask him if he's okay if I do that, I suppose. I just don't want to get anybody upset at me because like I want to, you know, I mean, we all work in the same industry, we do the same thing, so you don't want to do something that's gonna upset somebody, you know, because that's not good form. But anyway, I was impetuous in my early years. Just put on your +2 vest of comment deflecting. I don't even read my comments. Like I can't do it. There are some content creators that post on Twitter all the time about people leaving negative comments and how it upsets them and how it makes them feel bad and stuff. And every time I see these content creators talking about the negative comments and how people are bothering them and how people are doing this and they're making them feel bad and it's affecting their mental health and stuff, every time I see people tweeting about this, I'm screaming at my phone. Stop reading your comments then. The solution is simple. If you can't take it, stop reading your comments. It's easy. Oh my goodness. Well, there's no way to do an impersonation video of somebody without it being a little mocking. There's no way to do that. You can't have that come off cleanly. And you cannot control for one person's interpretation of your video. You can't control for that, right? People are going to interpret it the way they're going to interpret it. So even if you try to do it a way that's not a way, they might interpret it that way. You know what I mean? So, Deathbringer. Oh yeah, when he and I met at Gen Con, and I was making some comments about Deathbringer and stuff. Yeah, it's cool. All right, okay, the winner. We were drawing the winner, and then I got distracted. You all distracted me, Mr. Gore. You distracted me. I blame this on you. Okay, we're drawing the winner now. Drawing the winner. Okay. David from Anchorage, Alaska. David from Anchorage, Alaska. You have won, good sir. I shall be sending you an email and we will get you hooked up with store credit on the DM Lair store. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm leaving. I will be here next week. And we'll see what we do. We might do some more of these horror stories. We might just do Q&A. I like doing Q&A too, but sometimes the Q&A I get the same questions a lot. And so, you know, sometimes you just want to spice it up with something. So there you go. All right. Bye, everybody. It was fun hanging out. I got to find my buttons and then push the buttons.